Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. Today, doing another Champions Report. This is on the WBA titles, and I cover all the WBA titles from 122 pounds all the way to the heavyweight division. So, I already did the WBO. In these, we just discuss every champion and what's coming up for them. If there's anything coming up, I'll make predictions if they have a fight coming up in the next month or two, who I'm favoring, all that kind of stuff. But it's basically just to keep you updated on what's going on with the WBA belts. Now, the WBA, I applaud them. They are trying to make less titles now by, in one true champion in each weight class, which is what they should have been doing the whole time. But they're getting rid of the regular champs and the interim champions, and there's going to be one true champ in each weight class, but they have to build to that by making the fighters fight each other. So we start with the 122-pound Super Bantamweight Championship, which is currently held by the undefeated unified champion Mirajan Akhmadaliyev, who holds both the WBA and the IBF titles. Now, we don't know what they're going to do. The WBA earlier in the year, before they made this decision to reduce titles, ordered Akhmadaliyev to fight Ronnie Rios, who was like the gold champion, which pretty much means like a number one contender. But now that they've made the decision to get rid of all these belts, they took the regular status away from Brandon Figueroa since he's a WBC champion. They took his regular status away, so there's no regular champ anymore. And I believe the interim champion was Rais Alim. So haven't heard anything. The last I heard was that they were targeting Akhmadaliyev and Rios were targeting August 28th to fight each other. That fight never happened. It was well over a month ago that the fight was being thought to happen, and it didn't happen. And I haven't heard anything since, so I'm hoping we hear something soon. And I really hope they follow through on giving Ronnie Rios a shot at Akhmadaliyev before they order him to fight whoever, Rais Alim or whoever. But Rais Alim has been out making a lot of statements saying that he wants that fight. So I'm hoping we hear some kind of news this month on when Akhmadaliyev will be defending his unified championship. 126 featherweight. The champion there is still Leo Santa Cruz. Well, finally, we've heard that Santa Cruz is returning to featherweight. The WBA, to reduce the titles, ordered newly crowned regular champion Lee Wood. He's got to fight Michael Conlon next. And the winner of that fight's currently going to a purse bid. The winner of that fight will get a crack at Leo Santa Cruz. Granted, Santa Cruz is still champion after December because Santa Cruz announced that he's likely going to return in December. Make a tune-up bout. It's going to be, by that point, it's going to be 14 months out of the ring since he got knocked out against Gervonta Davis at 130, and it's going to be almost 3 years since he even defended the title at 122. So, 126. So he's going to get a tune-up bout in, and then he's going to have to face the winner of Lee Wood and Michael Conlon sometimes next year, which either fight is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. All right, 130 super featherweight. The champion there is Roger Gutierrez. Gervonta Davis gave up his belt in order to continue on as champion at 135 or 140, regular champion. So he doesn't plan to move back down to 130. So he gave up his belt. Roger Gutierrez, a regular champion, is the only champ now, and he's got to fight the interim champion, undefeated Chris Colbert, next. Now, they just avoided purse bids. They agreed to a fight. They just need a date and a venue. That's all they're looking at now. So sometime soon we should know about the mandatory fight between Gutierrez and Chris Colbert. I'm thinking we're probably going to see that fight maybe in December sometime. Maybe that would land on the undercard of Jojo Diaz and Ryan Garcia, which Golden Boy's trying to put together. We don't know. That's just speculation, but I'm just saying that'd be a good undercard action right there. Gutierrez is with Golden Boy, and Colbert is with the PBC. 135. Undefeated and undisputed champion there is Teofimo Lopez. So Lopez, we know, is supposed to make his IBF mandatory defense against George Kambosos on October 4th. Lopez and Triller came out asking if the fight could be pushed back to October 16th, which would be like the third or fourth date change. Kambosos is standing firm on October 4th, which is this Monday coming up. But as of right now, Madison Square Garden took the fight completely off the schedule. We don't know if it's going to happen at all. I heard that Kambosos is threatening a lawsuit. So right now, everything's all fucked up and up in the air. I have no idea what's going to happen with this fight or happen at all. We know that Gervonta Davis is still the regular champ at 135 and 140, and the WBA could order Davis to fight Lopez for in a mandatory fight after this. So I'm really excited. Hopefully that gets made. But I would like to see Lopez and Kambosos first. And I think Lopez will knock him out if they get everything figured out. But as of right now, nothing's figured out. We just got to wait and see. 140, junior welterweight. Champion there is the undefeated and undisputed champion, Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is good to go for December 17th. He'll defend his undisputed junior welterweight title against his undefeated WBO mandatory #1 contender, Jack Catterall. That fight is good to go for December 17th. It'll take place on ESPN. Taylor, it's a homecoming fight. It's going to take place in Glasgow, Scotland, where Taylor is from. So big fight for him right there. Looking forward to seeing him back in action, defending his undisputed title. We don't know if Gervonta Davis is going to cash in to try to fight him after that, but I'm leaning against it. Davis is the regular champ at 140. 147, the champion there is Yordenis Ugas, coming off of his monster victory over Manny Pacquiao. Well, Pacquiao is now retired, so a rematch is not in the cards. And the WBA prior to that, I think they knew that Pacquiao wasn't going to be returning because they ordered a 4-man box-off tournament to determine a true WBA champion. Ugas is the super champ. Jamal James is the interim champion. He was already supposed to fight Butsayev, an undefeated fighter on the rise, for the interim belt. That fight was already ordered. Well, the WBA ordered Ugas to fight Stanionis, an undefeated fighter on the rise. They ordered him to fight him. So now that fight looks like it's going to be happening. We just don't know exactly when it's going to happen yet because it was just recently ordered. So hopefully we hear something on that fight taking place. They said within 120 days. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ugas got back in the ring before the end of the year. But I'm leaning maybe more towards January. But they're saying that the WBA said that they want that fight sewn up and the whole box-off tournament to be done by the end of March 2022. So Ugas is going to be on a busy schedule if he wants to make that happen, especially if he wants to unify belts against Errol Spence. I think this kind of leaves the door open for Errol Spence to return to 100 or to return and make a mandatory himself and shake off some rust from that tough outcome where he missed out on the showdown with Manny Pacquiao himself due to a retina issue. So that's what's going on at 147. 154, the champion there is Jermell Charlo. Now, I know everybody is waiting around to see if Charlo and what's his name, Brian Castaño, the undefeated WBO champion, if they're going to rematch. Right now, I haven't heard anything on it yet, but I think part of that's because they're trying to figure out the mandatory situation. I don't think Charlo has to worry about his WBA belt because Erislandy Lara was the regular champion and has opted to move up to 160 and fight there because he was regular champ at both 154 and 160, and he decided to give up his regular status there. But I haven't heard if the WBA is going to order him, Charlo, to fight his interim champion, whoever that is. And I haven't heard anything about that. And I know Charlo has mandatories due in both the WBC and the IBF. So waiting around to see if the rematch between Charlo and Castaño is going to happen. 160, the champion there is Ryota Murata of Japan. It's been made official. Murata is going to try to unify belts against Triple G Gennady Golovkin on Saturday, December 28th in Japan. I cannot wait for that. That is a huge fight right there for Triple G and for Murata. And they are unified belts. I think the winner's probably going to have to fight regular champ Erislandy Lara. After that, the WBA will likely order that. And they should. That's going to be exciting. 168, the champion there is Canelo Alvarez, your pound-for-pound king. WBA hasn't ordered anything because Canelo is fighting Caleb Plant for the undisputed super middleweight championship on Saturday, November 6th. That's a huge fight for Canelo as he tries to become the first ever Mexican undisputed champion. He's going to try to become, only the 7th ever 4-belt undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. And it's going to be a big deal. I can't wait to see it. Saturday, November 6th, I got Canelo winning that fight, but Plant is talking a lot of shit. They got into it at the press conference throwing blows. Hopefully that fight holds still with the cut that Plant suffered on his eye, but we'll see. But November 6th, Showtime pay-per-view should be good. 175, the champion there is Dimitri Bivol. The latest news that I heard was over a month ago on Bivol that he could be facing John Ryder, the former interim champion. He could be fighting him on Saturday, October 30th on DAZN as the co-feature to Dillian White and Otto Wallen in the main event. That was over a month ago. Haven't heard anything since. I know the fight with Gilberto Ramirez, still, that everybody still wants to see that fight. Gilberto Ramirez is really pushing for it. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything. 200 cruiserweight, the champion there is Arsène Goulamirian, the undefeated champ from France. He has been ordered to fight Alexei Igorov in his next fight. I think Igorov was the regular or interim champ. He was ordered to fight him, and they're going to get together in November, it looks like. And after that, hopefully we could see a unification take place. But we'll see. That's what's supposed to go on there. I think Goulamirian's going to win that one. And then heavyweight. The newly crowned champion there is Alexander Usyk. He's now the unified champ. He just beat Anthony Joshua on September 25th by a clean decision. And now a rematch clause is in the contract. We know that undefeated Trevor Bryan is the regular champion. The WBA, I don't think, I'm interested in seeing if they're going to order Usyk to fight him. He would probably give up the belt. I think the WBA, if they're smart, they'll wait for the rematch to happen, and then they'll order Usyk and Trevor Bryan to fight. And if Usyk decides to go in another direction, then he can give up the belt. But I think they should be a part of the rematch in the unification bout, or for the unified title. But we'll see what happens. But that should be taking place February or March if Joshua does indeed want to invoke the rematch clause. So that's it. That's the Champions Report for the WBA. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.